Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're switching gears a bit and diving into the world of food trucks.
Ooh, food truck.
I've always been fascinated by them. And
Me too.
really,
Yeah, the idea of like having your own restaurant on wheels is
it's so cool.
super cool.
Yeah, and so we thought it'd be fun to kind of like peel back the curtain and see what it really takes to start one.
Right.
So we found this awesome YouTube video by Damien Roberta from Food Truck Freaks.
Yeah, Damien's a legend.
I know, right?
Over 30 years in the food industry.
Seriously.
Everything from bakeries to catering to even running his own online business.
Wow.
So he really knows his stuff.
That's awesome.
And he breaks down what he calls the 8 barriers to entry for starting a food truck.
Okay, so 8 things that are going to make it difficult to get into this business.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
So he starts with number 8, which is access to financing.
Okay, financing. So getting the money to start.
Right, because banks often see food trucks as riskier than traditional restaurants. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, you don't have that brick and mortar location, so it's harder to convince lenders that you're a safe bet.
Right, right. It's
Right
like
on.
you could just drive away with the whole business.
Exactly. And Damien suggests starting with a used truck to lower the initial investment.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and he even says hold off on loans entirely until you've got a proof of concept.
Whoa, wait, really? So prove your food truck idea works before you go into debt.
Yeah, it's like a test drive for your business.
That's genius. I love it.
It's the lean startup mentality. Prioritize essential expenses and validate your concept before scaling up.
Okay, that makes total sense. So careful planning is key.
Definitely. But what about the one thing you can't really plan for the weather?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Damien lists seasonality as barrier number 7.
Yeah, because relying solely on street vending can be tough when it gets cold or rainy.
Exactly. You got to think beyond the curb.
So don't put all your eggs in one basket, so to speak.
Right. Diversify.
For like catering, maybe.
Exactly. Or use the truck for cooking classes in the off-season. Partner with indoor venues for pop-up events. Get creative.
I love that. So the limitations of a food truck actually spark more creativity.
Totally. You have to think outside the box, or in this case, outside the truck.
That's awesome. All right, so what's next on Damien's list?
Barrier number 6, insurance costs.
Oh, right. Of course. Got to have insurance.
Yeah, and it's not just one type either. You need vehicle liability workers' compensation. If you have employees, it adds up.
So starting small, even as a solo operation initially, is a smart financial move.
Definitely helps manage those early expenses, especially when profit margins are still thin.
Okay, makes sense. Minimize upfront expenses and then gradually expand as the business grows.
Exactly.
All right, so we've got careful planning, adaptability, strategic approach to finances. But there are just some things you can't predict when running a food truck, right?
Absolutely. Damien's 5th barrier, operational challenges.
Okay, so what falls under that umbrella?
Think limited space, unpredictable weather vehicle maintenance, fluctuating customer traffic. It's a lot to juggle.
Wow, it's like running a mini restaurant on wheels.
Exactly, and you got to be super organized and efficient.
Right. Make the most of that limited space.
Everything needs to be optimized for both functionality and mobility.
Like a real-life game of Tetris, every inch counts.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, so you've got your operations streamlined,
Mm-hmm.
but then you face the challenge of actually attracting customers in a market that might already be saturated with other food trucks.
Right, that's barrier number 4, market saturation.
Yeah, think about popular tourist spots or busy city centers.
Call much competition.
It's not enough to just have good food. You need to stand out.
Absolutely, you need a unique brand identity that resonates with your target audience.
So what makes your truck special?
Right, is it your menu, your sourcing, your overall vibe?
I bet a cool truck design helps too.
Definitely, it's all about differentiation.
Okay, I'm getting hungry just thinking about all this delicious food.
Me too.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We still have a few more barriers to discuss.
Right, number 3, location and parking restrictions.
Ooh, that sounds like a logistical nightmare.
It can be. Damien emphasizes the importance of researching local ordinances and permit requirements.
Because the last thing you want is to get shut down or fined because you didn't do your homework.
Exactly. Zoning laws and parking regulations vary drastically from city to city.
So knowledge is power. Careful research is essential.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate the power of a good lawyer who specializes in these matters.
Okay, you've convinced me a lawyer is a must-have.
Definitely worth the investment.
All right, so you've navigated the legal hurdles, but now you face the daunting task of actually getting the truck up and running.
Right. Barrier number 2, startup costs.
Okay, so even though food trucks are generally less expensive than brick-and-mortar restaurants, there's still a significant initial investment.
Absolutely.
We're talking about the trunk itself. Equipment inventory permits legal fees.
And don't forget about branding, website development, marketing materials.
Well, that's a lot to consider.
It is, but remember, the lean startup approach.
Right. Prioritize the essentials, start small, gradually expand.
Exactly.
Okay, drum roll, please. We've arrived at Damien's #1 barrier to entry in the food truck industry.
Regulatory requirements and licensing.
Oh boy, that sounds complicated.
It can be the permitting and licensing processes vary greatly from one location to the next, and the paperwork can seem endless.
Like a bureaucratic labyrinth.
Pretty much.
This is where professional help is essential.
Absolutely. Damien stresses the importance of consulting with experts who can guide you through this intricate process.
So a lawyer and an accountant should be on your A-team?
Definitely. They can help you obtain the necessary permits, ensure compliance with local regulations, and avoid costly mistakes.
So we're seeing a recurring theme here. Surround yourself with experts.
Couldn't agree more. Building a strong team is just as important as perfecting your recipes.
So true. And luckily, Damien is creating state-specific resources on his YouTube channel to help demystify this complex world of licenses and permits.
Yeah, he's a great resource.
Okay, so we've journeyed through Damien Roberta's 8 barriers to entry in the food truck industry.
And while these challenges might seem daunting, they are not insurmountable.
Exactly. With the right approach, these obstacles can be transformed into opportunities for growth and innovation.
Absolutely.
So stay tuned, because in the next part of our deep dive, we'll explore practical strategies and actionable insights to help you overcome these hurdles and set your food truck business up for success.
It's going to be delicious.
I can't wait. All right, so we're back and ready to dig even deeper into the world of food trucks.
We've identified those hurdles now. Let's talk solutions.
Exactly, because knowing the challenges is only half the battle, right?
Right. You got to be prepared to tackle them head on.
So let's go back to that first barrier, access to financing. Damien's advice to start small and avoid loans is great.
Yeah.
But what if you need a little extra cash to get rolling?
Well, there's always crowdfunding.
Crowdfunding, oh yeah, like Kickstarter and those platforms.
Exactly. It's a great way to tap into a network of potential investors who believes in your vision.
So it's not just about the money, it's about building a community around your brand.
Exactly. And there are even platforms specifically designed for food businesses, like Food Start and Pie Show.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, they offer resources and support tailored to food entrepreneurs.
So there are options out there. That's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's move on to seasonality, the unpredictable weather that can really impact a food truck's revenue.
Ah, yes. Mother Nature can be a fickle mistress.
So how do you combat those slow periods when the weather's not cooperating?
Damien suggests thinking outside the traditional food truck model. Explore alternative revenue streams.
Okay, like what?
Catering, for example, or cooking classes. Using the truck, partnering with indoor venues for pop-up events.
Oh, those are all great ideas.
Yeah, turn those cold winter months into an opportunity to connect with customers in a different way.
I love it. So we've got strategies for funding and navigating seasonal fluctuations.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the day-to-day grind of running a food truck, those operational challenges?
Ah, yes, the constant juggling act of limited space, unpredictable weather, fluctuating customer traffic. It's a lot to handle.
So how do you stay organized and efficient in that kind of environment?
Technology is your best friend.
No, really? How so?
Well, there are point-of-sale systems designed specifically for food trucks.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they can handle everything from taking orders and processing payments to tracking inventory and generating sales reports.
Wow, it's like having a virtual assistant on board.
Exactly. And there are also apps for scheduling staff, managing social media booking events, even tracking your truck's location in real time.
So technology can really streamline operations and keep everything running smoothly.
Absolutely, it's a game changer.
Okay, so you've got your operations running like a well-oiled machine,
Mm-hmm.
but now you need to attract customers in a crowded market.
Right. We talked about branding, but what does that really entail?
Yeah, how do you make your food truck stand out from the crowd?
It's about creating a unique identity that resonates with your target audience.
Okay, so it's more than just a catchy name and a cool logo.
Right. It's about telling your story. What are your values? What experience do you want to create for your customers?
So it's about crafting a narrative, a personality that sets you apart.
Exactly. You need to identify your niche, what makes you special.
Is it your cuisine, your sourcing practices, your commitment to sustainability, or maybe even your unique truck design?
It's all about the whole package the food, the service, the experience.
So it's like a puzzle. You need to fit all the pieces together to create a cohesive and compelling brand.
Exactly.
Okay, let's move on to the logistical challenge of location and parking restrictions.
This is where research is crucial.
Yeah, because those regulations can be a real headache.
Absolutely. You need to contact your city or county officials to understand the specific rules in your area.
So get the necessary permits and licenses and make sure you're following on the guidelines.
Right. And if the regulations are unclear or overly restrictive, consider joining a local food truck association.
Oh, that's a good idea. Strength in numbers?
Exactly. They can advocate for your interests and keep you informed about any changes in regulations.
Yeah, so there's support out there. That's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's talk about those startup costs. We know launching a food truck can be a big financial undertaking.
It can, but there are ways to manage those costs.
Like what?
Remember Damien's launch lean philosophy?
Right.
Prioritize essential equipment. Start with a smaller menu to manage inventory costs.
Okay. Streamline your operations. Focus on what you do best.
Exactly. And when it comes to the truck itself, consider buying used and customizing it to fit your needs.
Oh, that's a great idea. It's like a blank canvas. You can make it your own.
Exactly. And it can save you a lot of money.
Okay, last but not least, those regulatory requirements and licensing.
Ugh, the paperwork.
It can be overwhelming.
It can, but organization is key.
Okay, so how do you stay on top of everything?
Create a checklist of all the permits and licenses required in your area.
Right.
Gather all the necessary documentation, and don't be afraid to reach out to the relevant authorities for clarification.
So be proactive and don't let the paperwork pile up.
Right. And remember, Damien is creating state-specific resources on his YouTube channel.
Oh, that's right. Those will be super helpful.
Yeah. And don't underestimate the power of networking.
Networking. Oh, yeah.
Connect with other food truck owners in your area. Pick their brains. Learn from their experiences.
It's like having a mentor who's been there, done that.
Exactly. They can offer valuable insights and support.
So we've covered a lot of ground here, from crowdfunding and branding to navigating regulations and finding support networks.
Mm-hmm.
It's clear that starting a food truck is no walk in the park.
It's not for the faint of heart.
But it's also an incredibly exciting and rewarding journey.
Absolutely. And we're just getting started.
That's right. Stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive, where we'll delve even deeper into the secrets of food truck success.
All right, we're back for the final leg of our food truck deep dive.
We've covered the nuts and bolts, the permits, the regulations.
Yeah, the nitty-gritty of starting a food truck.
But there's one key ingredient we haven't fully explored yet.
Oh, and what's that?
The human element.
The human element. Okay, I like that.
Yeah, we've talked about strategies and tools, but what about the passion, the drive, the sheer determination it takes to make it in this industry?
Right, because starting any business is tough, but the food industry is notoriously challenging.
It's not for the faint of heart, that's for sure.
So what separates the dreamers from the doers in the food truck world?
I think it's that unwavering belief in your vision, that ability to adapt and overcome, challenges the resilience to keep going even when things get tough.
It's that entrepreneurial spirit, that never give up attitude.
Exactly. And of course, the love of food.
Oh, absolutely. Got to have that passion for creating something delicious and sharing it with the world. That's the driving force behind every successful food truck.
It's more than just making a profit. It's about connecting with people, building a community, making a difference through food.
It's about those moments when you see a customer's face light up after their first bite.
That's got to be the best feeling.
It makes all the hard work worthwhile.
You know, we've talked about Damien Roberta's 8 barriers to entry.
Yeah.
But maybe there's a 9th barrier that's even more crucial.
Oh, and what's that?
Self-doubt.
Self-doubt. That's an interesting thought.
Because it's so easy to get bogged down by those negative thoughts, those fears of failure.
Right, that little voice in your head saying, what if it doesn't work?
Exactly, but you got to silence that voice and trust your gut.
It's about believing in yourself and having the courage to take risks.
Because starting a business is a leap of faith no matter what industry you're in.
Absolutely. But it's also an incredible opportunity for growth.
Growth, both personally and professionally.
You learn, you evolve, you push yourself beyond your comfort zone.
And who knows, maybe someday you'll be the one mentoring other aspiring food truck entrepreneurs.
Yeah, sharing your hard-earned wisdom, inspiring others to chase their culinary dreams.
It's about building a legacy that goes beyond just serving delicious food.
That's a beautiful thought.
Okay, so we've talked about the practicalities, the challenges, the rewards. But if you could give just one piece of advice to someone who's about to embark on their own food truck adventure, what would it be?
Don't be afraid to fail.
Don't be afraid to fail.
Embrace it. as part of the learning process experiment. Iterate, never stop refining your craft. And most importantly, never lose sight of your passion.
Passion is key. It's what fuels your creativity, your resilience, your unwavering belief in your vision.
It's contagious too. It'll attract customers, inspire your team, and ultimately lead you to success.
So true. And remember, you're not alone in this journey.
Right. The food truck community is incredibly supportive.
Yeah, reach out to other owners, ask questions, learn from their experiences.
There's a real sense of camaraderie in this industry.
It's like a big family. Everyone's passionate about food, about creativity, about bringing people together through delicious experiences.
And who knows, maybe someday we'll be lining up to sample your creations.
I hope so. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into the food truck industry.
It's been a delicious journey.
Thanks for joining us, and until next time, happy eating.